Dr. J. Allen's Petty and Ill-Informed Podcast. Recorded live weekly on YouTube.
Welcome, everybody that can hear the sound of my voice to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed Podcast, where after I've struck a deal with the devil, I have both of my co-hosts here. So, yay! But,
Well, there you go now. I personally, I was not feeling very well last week. And if anybody's listened to the program about my multiple problems with my stomach, they know why.
You shit yourself again?
No, I didn't technically, but I think I was one fart away.
Didn't technically.
No. I mean, it would if I would have been on the program, it would have happened.
Gotcha.
You don't need that, especially whenever you're talking about sex rafts.
That's true.
But what I do regret though was because I had sex raft by Tom Jones all ready to go.
Sex
No.
draft.
You're my sex raft.
Wow.
Brilliant. We didn't even plan that. That just happened organically.
That's right. That's a party song everyone loves.
It is. I don't know anybody that doesn't like that song. How can you not like that song?
I don't know. Strange people don't. So anyway, yeah, all my co-hosts here. The deal that I made with the devil was that I promised under no circumstances not to go to hell if he let me have my two co-hosts. So I'm God's problem now.
That's right. I look at it like this, Richard. You'd probably annoy the hell out of the devil anyway. He'd probably be like, get out of here. Get out of here, mate. All your using logic and everything. You'd probably just get an argument with the devil about how you don't believe in him.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't believe in you. It's like it's my whole, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could work theoretically. I think the chat was a fan of our rendition of Sex Raft there. Ace Space Angie is particularly a fan. Hi, Ange. Hi, Gabby. Hi, everybody listening. No SoFlo this week again. Hope he's okay. Oh, no, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. He was way up there.
Sorry, SoFlo. Didn't see you. Anyway, so got a story to tell you. A yarn, if you will. I'm going to spin you a yarn. So after the show last week, me and Niki were hanging out and, discussing getting rid of Kevin permanently from the show because, as we often do.
Right. I look at it like this. When I was listening to the program last week, I realized that, you know how you can buy sausages now, Richard, at the shop, bangers for like 16p for like 8 of them, because they've got a ton of filler in it. You guys are the pork and the spices, and I'm just filler apparently.
You are not.
If I can bulk it up and make it look bigger, I'm all into that.
I mean, most men are, so.
Some men don't need to bulk up. Some men are just naturally. Anyway. So we were hanging out and.
Would you like to ask me what that's like?
What's that like, Niki?
I meant having a big penis. Continue. I'm sorry. Continue with your.
Well, you don't ask me because I don't know.
Oh, I get it. You were making fun of me for having a small penis. Ha 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 ha. Well, your mum knows how big I am, so Boom.
Yeah, she's the one that told me it wasn't very impressive.
And every
I love that. Damn.
yeah,
Totally turned that around on me.
and and like I said, Richard, I've been watching this program about called Benidorm about people who go to the Costa Blanca and Brits who go to the Costa Blanca in Spain and hang out in the Rovers return bar and Mallorca and things like that. When you were there, were you and you had your German problem, of course, we all know about that, but were you wearing the budgie smuggler speedos, or were you wearing had you gone full American with the big baggy shorts by that time in your pool?
I was wearing a man thong, a mankini.
Were you wearing a mankini?
Yeah, all the way up, all up my arse crack.
Well, then somebody has a picture of you definitely to know the evidence is out there. Is all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Hey, Rod. Okay, so let me tell this bloody story before we get completely knocked off. So me and Nikki were hanging out, and one of her mates calls up and he's like, "Hey, can I talk to you two, right?" And we were like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. We don't care. I mean, he's a bit of a he's a bit of a weird one, but whatever. I like Nikki's friends." I
He's a
said, "Let's have."
sweetheart.
Okay, well,
Continue.
naive sweetheart. So he joins the old chat, and we're having this conversation, and he starts telling us about this time he shit himself.
Or was it me? Was I not unaware of the
No,
fact
it
that
wasn't you. It was this other friend who joined our conversation and then just randomly told us this conversation about how he shit himself in public.
yeah.
And we were like, do we attract these people?
Is this the kind of people that are attracted to us?
Yes. I I think that you do attract what we used to call in Northern Ireland the dirty protesters.
Dirty protesters.
Is that the vibe we give off? Come talk to us. Tell us about how you shit yourself in public.
Well,
We want to hear.
I think it's more of a fact that you're so open and welcoming to people who have had multiple health problems. Well, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
not a health problem.
I mean, sometimes
Technically, I'm just
sometimes
saying.
men test a fart and the test is positive.
Right. Right.
Women don't do that.
Oh, they don't.
No, they tend to
They
not.
they never get the case
So
of the
there's
jelly
this
belly.
this idea that men are more prone to shitting themselves because they will test a fart, and
Well,
women, because of babies and just getting older, more prone to peeing themselves.
well, I think that that what men don't realize is that Kegel exercises work for a man and a woman. I mean, obviously, that's if when you're talking
That's what
about
all the sex magazines have told me.
yeah,
Yeah.
but basically, you can do exercises to try to tighten up your sphincter. That's all. If you're a man, and not that you would want to do that for maybe sex reasons. Well, I mean, it's everybody to themselves, but you know, for the keeping that area down there tight usually would be a good thing for everybody, I would think.
Yeah, but I get the idea that men are just like, "Oh, I got a fart," and then they just let it go. Whereas
Rip it up.
women are more the type to, just gently test it out, and guys are just like, "Well, we're gonna see what happens."
So you're saying that women in
I'm saying that women naturally clench their butt cheeks together when they
right
fart
that
anyway because they're trying to keep the sound down.
right. So what you're saying is that they automatically, by the virtue of the
Being a woman. Yeah.
the virtue of society, feel that you have to be able to control the volume, whereas men are like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not all women. My mother-in-law is openly flatulent, and yeah. That's a thing. But most
Nikki
women,
disapproves.
most women would rather be, discreet about it.
Yeah.
Some women will even tell you that women don't fart.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean,
Exactly.
right.
So it's very much and girls get shamed for farting way more than guys do in like school.
Oh,
So
sure, sure, sure.
just saying.
Well,
It's
and there's more places
so
don't have.
guys aren't going to be as cautious with their farts.
Right,
If you guys have a blowout, you have a blowout. It's just a chance that you took that day.
right.
We
But
roll
I
the
mean,
dice. That's our thing.
but there are other places to trap air in a woman's body than there aren't in a man's body too.
This is
So
No,
very true.
no. We're not
We're
no,
not
lowering
gonna
ourselves
we're not gonna
to
have the
that.
gutter fart conversation again.
We're not going to have the queef conversation again. All right.
There's a difference between a gutter fart and a queef.
I don't know.
We're not.
Rich,
We're not
it obviously
discussing.
upsets Richard to the point where we shouldn't talk
We
about.
absolutely
I
must
Yeah.
talk
just think
about it
we've
at this point.
devoted too much time on this show already to
I
flatulence.
think that you men probably don't understand that women deal with some weird stuff.
Ugh.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know my favorite rapper is Queef Latifah.
Look,
Queef
women
Latifah
don't. Oh, Kevin, Jesus,
or Queen Laquifa.
God.
All right.
I'm already regretting having both of you on the same show again. I remember nothing like 5 minutes with you two to remind me why it's better with just one of you. Okay. I can't remember what I was going to say now. You two have just thrown me off my game so much.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Oh, yeah. Oh,
guys,
no, I was going to say, right, men have to deal with sweaty balls, okay? And women will never understand how much that sucks. So we win.
men will never understand what it's like to fart and it travels up your cooch and pops on your clit, and for a second it feels really good, and then you're suddenly filled with shame. Shame.
Not as bad as having a nut stick to your inner thigh.
You don't know. Sometimes my nuts stick to my inner thigh.
You don't have nuts.
You don't know.
the labia, do the labia stick to your labia? I mean, we don't. Your
I've
labia.
never had that issue, but I'm not saying all women's vages look different. So
Right.
they might,
I would imagine that. To be honest with you, um, it seems to me like
This
women.
conversation.
No, this is a health conversation, really.
This is
It
not a
is.
health conversation. This is a cheap laugh
No,
conversation.
no, it's not. Think about it. Women. I don't know if that's true or not, but do you know the
It
instance?
100% is true. It's
If
100% true.
no, I'm saying, do women get more yeast infections than men?
I would believe so, yes, because women, I don't know if men know this, but if you notice your woman automatically goes pee after coitus, it's because she's trying to keep from having UTI and other issues like that. But women can be thrown into a yeast infection from taking an antibiotic. Some women get them very easy.
Well, yeah, no, but men
And
can do that too.
UTIs. Yeah. But
But
women tend to get them more, I believe. And I think that is
right,
probably worse.
right. But and a lot of, I mean, men don't understand why women go to the toilet after they have sex. I mean,
Hmm.
so I think that they don't have to, but they probably should. In other words, the fact that they're doing it does not mean that they're doing anything other than taking care of their own reproductive organs. Is my point. It shouldn't be a shameful act. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't give your
Right.
don't give your girlfriend crap, or your wife and your girlfriend crap if they go to the toilet together,
Yeah. Yep.
which is a totally different topic.
We
On
also
why?
talk about you guys when we go to the bathroom together.
Yeah.
It's our time to talk about you. Like, oh my gosh, you see Kevin's shirt. I told him like 4 times not to wear it. It's so fucking stupid, but he did it anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I knew that. What surprised me about women was because I was raised in a very conservative home, and I was genuinely led to believe that women did not like sex throughout my entire early childhood. And it was a huge shock to me when I got older to find out that women are not only as perverted as men, but way, way more open and perverted than we could ever be.
Oh yeah, we
Right.
talk about it way more than you guys do.
Hmm.
If
But yeah,
you've had
right.
sex with a woman, all of her friends know details.
Yeah.
Details.
Yeah.
They know. They share dick pictures. Just FYI.
What?
Well,
Oh
how do they
yeah,
do
they
that?
absolutely do. Oh, I
Oh,
can't
well,
tell
how
you
do
how
they get a
often I
picture of
have,
my? How do they get a picture of my wiener?
not yours, but when men send them to them.
Oh, okay. I
Oh
see what
yeah,
you're saying. It's
even if
not
it's
like
someone they're dating, they're like, "Look at this."
they
Oh
don't
no, no,
really
no! You think
actually
that's
have
good? Look at this. Yeah.
a cooch camera or anything like that.
No,
They're
no,
not
no, no, no,
shoving
no,
it
no.
up there. Spy
They're
cam.
not. No, they're not spy camming it. Women don't need a spy cam for dick pics. Guys will readily send them to us, whether or not they've talked to us before or not.
Yeah. Well, but I do understand that. I don't understand that whole idea of why. I mean, to me, right? A girl, in most cases, if they just asked a man to see their penis, you're going to be able to see it. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So to randomly, unsolicited, send it to somebody, I think you're biting off more than you could chew, as it were. That's probably not wanted. I mean, let me ask you a question though. I mean, and this is a personal thing, Nikki. Oh, but you're married, so it
Okay.
doesn't matter. But what I'm
Yeah. Go ahead.
saying is of you and your friends, has somebody sending them a picture of their penis actually then led to unsolicited sort of them saying, "Oh, let me call him up and I'm gonna take
No,
a hold of that
absolutely
guy."
not.
Yeah,
No.
didn't think so.
No. Mm-mm. Nope. Yeah, no
That's
woman is looking at it, even if it was impressive. A woman's gonna be like, "What?
I've,
What a
I've
d
never
bag."
I've never sent an unsolicited dick pic ever. I've sent dick pics, not gonna lie. If I've been asked for them, I've sent them, but I've never sent an unsolicited one ever. I don't see the point. Do those sort of men just think if I show her my dick, she'll go to bed with me? Kevin,
I think
you
that's the.
strike
I think
me as the
I
type of bloke who sends unsolicited dick pics. So
no, I never have. I have sent one in my entire life to my current wife.
Aw.
And yeah,
that's not the
I
way
would
Niki tells it.
no,
Wow. I've never. Kevin has never sent me a dick pic.
I would never do that. That's a violation of our friendship. Listen,
Absolutely. And
listen,
you would
listen.
hear an earful from me. I would lose it on you.
Right. I mean, Nikki and I, we obviously talk about I mean, like on the program, we talk about subjects I think most men and women don't do. Like whenever I was first on the show, you guys talked about subjects that I thought, oh, well, they're probably doing it on the side. I didn't know your marriage status or anything like that. I just started listening to the program and I could imagine people think, oh, well, Nikki and Kevin flirt offline or whatever. We don't.
Yeah,
But
we hardly talk offline. It's weird.
no, but I'm just saying from that standpoint is, I'm just asking a question to a woman. But that's the idea of a man and a woman being friends for some reason is such a taboo subject, especially if you're talking about things that uh are not just straight
That would
line.
Right.
Or-
That would be considered taboo or non-conservative.
right.
Yeah.
Because I've asked you because I asked you a question about is anybody saying that, then people would think, oh, well, that's because they're boning. When we're not.
Right.
None of us have boned. The only
I don't
person,
know. You and Richard haven't?
well, no, that's what I'm saying. The closest
Oh.
thing that actually happened is probably me and Richard.
Oh. I believe it. Richard's gotten
No,
really quiet, so the
no,
silence
he,
is very
he,
Sorry,
telling.
no, I had to mute myself for a bit. One of our fans made me laugh so hard. They sent me, oh god.
Who's
yeah,
sending you
right.
what? Who's
Yeah,
just
that's
go ahead.
his
I'm not going to
cover
betray
story.
confidence. I'm not going to betray confidence, but unless they say I can. But it was hilarious.
Right. Did somebody send
But
you a made up dick pic of me?
Yeah, basically. So one of our fans sent me a bunch of unsolicited dick pics.
Nice.
And I'm not going to name names A space NG, but
I was about to say, I knew it was Ange. Is it your dick, Ange? Do you have big dick energy? I think you do.
Right.
okay.
Well, it's funny thing. Funny thing. That's all I'm gonna say. Funny. Life is funny.
Life
Nothing
is
is
hilarious.
nothing is queer as folk, as they say, in the north where you live, Richard.
Speaking of the North, we had the. I'm just going to segue away from this topic. We had the Northern Lights this week.
Ooh,
Right?
Pretty cool.
fancy.
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Did you get any?
fully clouded, so couldn't see a thing. But
But supposedly it was there. Woo!
I've only seen the Northern Lights one time in the whole time I've lived up here. It was like 5 years ago.
Aw,
What's nice?
did you cry?
Oh yeah, I cry like a bitch. Like the Solway Firth is full of porpoises, but I've only ever seen one once.
Right. Well, I mean
Wow.
that's the thing. I remember seeing I remember seeing the Northern Lights once or twice whenever I lived in County Down, which again literally is the same latitude uh, that you are on, Richard. But whenever I went a little bit north of there
Yeah.
to the Antrim coast, I could see it way more clearly. But there was, you didn't have the lights of Belfast and all that around it. So, you know, there's a very weird sort of in British towns, you get those sort of that orange haze. It's not like American lights because uh, uh, British lights at night in the city are almost orangey, and it's weird. Have you find that, Richard? It's not like the same sort of light pollution. It's that orange light pollution.
No, it's like when I lived in America, it was always like white. All the lights were white. So
Right. Yeah, but
it's
that's what I'm
always
saying. So that's sort of that amber hue that they put on street lights or whatever, road lights in Britain, and I never understood why there was a difference. But
I don't know, maybe tradition. I mean, I haven't seen a street light in ages. We had
no, that's
there
right. You
was
don't.
one. There was one that went up in our village, but it was mysteriously broken after 2 days, and they haven't replaced it yet. So
Right. Well, that's because they used to do drug deals underneath it. So therefore, no, that's. I mean, to be honest with you, in villages, that's how it goes. That's where you meet. You meet under the thing. I'm like, well, come on, meet me under that light. And then somebody puts like the new light bulb in it, and then you're like, no, we can't do our business here anymore. So you have to break the light. I'm
Wow.
just silly.
Teenagers, right? I can see that.
Yeah. I mean,
That makes sense.
that's just one of those things where, you know, that's where
definitely not a grown up that hated the street light being there.
well, it could be, but it's like anything. When you live in a village, there's places that you go to do all kinds of things. Like you go behind the village hall to smoke whenever you're young, and you go to a certain location to snog with your girlfriend when you're young, and you got to have certain places where there's no lights. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
I mean, that's the
It
way
is
it
like
is.
that in every small town.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, why don't they just take it down? They should just put it in some cul-de-sac, and just put all the lights there for people who are making dogging videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they like to be watched, apparently.
Wow.
Come on, man! Anyway, Nikki,
Speaking of
you wanted to.
speaking of people who like to be watched, what's Kuru?
Okay.
Great,
Wow.
best segue
Awesome.
ever.
That works
Yes.
great.
Uh-huh.
Kuru is a prion that was basically centralized in Foray and Papua New Guinea. Sure, they were being watched. They had a couple of scientists before they even knew what was going on, who actually in the 60s went into study. It was called like the laughing disease. And essentially, people would have body tremors or, gradual loss of mobility or coordination. They would like fall down, get confused, and it was basically a neuro degeneration that was going on in their brains. So they were watched for decades because these two doctors were trying to figure out, was it transmissible? Um, was, it is this, why is it only in this region that we're finding it? What caused it? They're trying to get down to the nitty gritty. So they're trying to figure out how it's transmitting because in Foray, pretty much the entire village had it almost. Um, and it was mainly within women and children that they were finding you would just waste away and die. Um, so they find out that it is not a virus like they thought it was going to be or some other kind of bacteria. It was actually what they later called a prion. So it's the same thing that caused um, mad cow disease, CJD, which is what is it, Creutzfeldt Jakob disease. There's they kind of were able to link it all together because they found a bunch of sheeps with a neurodivergent, like a neurodegeneration that was going on. And I can't remember what that one was called. I'm sorry, my brain is gone. So
It
anyway,
was called Aberdeen football supporters
yeah,
disease.
yeah, right, yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
So anyway, they find out that it is being transmitted through people, and they soon find out that it is this prion or prion. It's pronounced prion from the guy who made it, but some people call it prions. I've been corrected many times, so just choose whichever one you like.
Depends on
Um,
what. No, honestly, it depends on what country you're from.
yeah,
If you
Prisms.
prion is how you would pronounce it in Britain, I think. Yeah.
right. So anyway, they go on, and the difference between the viruses and bacteria and this prion is that the prion is pretty much protein. There's no DNA or RNA in it at all. And so, whereas viruses and everything else has that DNA and RNA going on with it, our bodies go, wait a second, we don't recognize this, let's attack it. Your immune system attacks it. Well, with a prion, it doesn't because your immune system sees it as, oh, that's a protein I need. And that's how it's able to spread through. Um, they started going through and they thought that since, you know, uh, they weren't a literary nation, that there would be no way of them having history. But of course, it was passed down verbally, like, old tribes used to do. So they were able to uh, track kind of um, how many cases they had with how many families and what year, or at least, circa, the year. So they found out that when they were there, it was in the 60s, the late 60s, they found out that they're finding that there's no prion cases for children now. Like the babies that were just born and up to a few years old, or even 10 at this point, they weren't they weren't showing any symptoms. So they find out that in the early 60s, um, New Guinea essentially said cannibalism is wrong. And, uh, some people were still doing it in secret, but then they put out guards into the villages in Papua New Guinea. So cannibalism stopped completely. But where the kuru had come from was that as a funerary rite, when someone passed away, their family would eat them, like parts of them. So, it was all about, so and so gets part of the brain, so and so gets fingers. Each member of the family had a different part of the body that they partook in. And if you were a man, especially if you're a warrior, you didn't eat it because it was considered something that could make you weak. So that's why it went through and it pretty much knocked out almost every woman and most children. It's incredibly interesting, like how I know how Richard likes his cannibalism stories.
I'm
A
a big
real
fan of
life
cannibalism.
Well,
this is
yeah,
a real life, issue in cannibalism.
right. And I think that that was one of those things that I think that a lot of people, uh, that I remember that story as being one of the reasons why cannibalistic societies may have not succeeded, or were the idea of this. I didn't know what it was called, to be honest with you, but the idea that these prions that are in our body can be transferred to another person by digestion, and or eating it, that this becomes
Mhm.
the but I didn't actually know that was this case, but that
Yeah, or
yeah,
blood in general. This was the first case that they were able to discover a new type of disease that actually, like a neurodegeneration that passed between human and and chimpanzee. They took chimpanzees and injected them, and it didn't take very long for it to show up in the chimps. But they found that the incubation rate on prions can be as high as 50 years that they've shown. So there could still be, they still have about 20 to 30 people die a year, I think was the last one. It could be old information that I have um, from it because of that incubation period. But
right,
um, but it is dying down, and now that they're not ingesting one another, it's dying out. But like we were talking before the show, you have variable Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, which is essentially the people in the UK who wound up being exposed to mad cow.
There was no mad cow disease. It was a government lie.
No, there was mad cow. You can see
There was no
videos.
mad cow disease. Those are obviously staged videos.
Yeah.
The government made it up to control us.
well, you live in a northern village. I'm sure that if you went around saying there was no mad cow disease in that general area, that you would be a popular man. you'd you'd,
Oh,
you'd probably
no, you don't even mention it up here. They will lynch you for even mentioning it.
right. Yeah. Well, it's like the only thing worse, like hoof and mouth and mad cow's disease. You don't want any of that on your land, because they would just basically come in and just slaughter them all and burn all your
Yeah.
sheep and all your
Well, they
cattle.
have
Yeah,
to. When you're at a
yeah.
hospital, if someone comes in with AIDS, you know,
Did you burn them?
we can pretty much sterilize as usual with the instruments, right? If someone
Right.
comes in with a prion, we have to incinerate those instruments. Everything that was there is set on fire. Save the patient.
Mm,
So if it touched that patient, if it touched their blood, it is incinerated. It's like a whole special deal to deal with it. AIDS, not so much. Someone's got AIDS. Okay.
Who cares?
Basically, like things that you would think would be a big deal isn't really a big deal with today's sterilization, but we literally, unless we incinerate it, cannot kill a prion.
right, but because it's so rare that instances of that happening,
Yeah.
nobody knows. I mean, obviously, there's far more things that people
I
are.
mean,
Yeah.
I know someone that's died from CJD. Like I know someone personally who died from it.
Wow.
And he was kind of falling around and having issues, and then like he was fine, was falling around having issues, running fever, and then he was in a coma. And he was in a coma for about a month. And finally this doctor, because they didn't know what the heck was wrong with him, this doctor come up and he was like, I got a weird question for you. Did your husband serve, you know, in the military? And the wife was like, yeah. And he's like, well, did he go to whatever region? She's like, yeah. And he goes, and did he eat monkey brains, while he was there? And the answer was yes. And they were able to. So it does happen. And he's probably had that forever. And what if he gave blood? What if he
Right.
donated blood? What if
Right.
he had a surgery and then that instrument was used on somebody else? It's a big deal. We would never know for another 50 or so years. Like you guys might end up having a huge epidemic, with
Of the mad.
variable
Yeah.
CJD
Right.
because you're not going to know for another 50, 60 years what the repercussions of mad cow disease is on your population.
Right.
Anyone got their fingers crossed for zombies?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, as somebody who's was living in Britain at the time of that,
It's
and
super sobering, isn't it? Probably a lot of people in Britain were living around that
yeah,
area and they don't even think about it because, oh, I don't have a problem. But when they're 70, they might.
right. Well,
Yeah, I
and I've
remember
also
that.
been to
It was all
I've
over
also
the news.
I've
Everyone was
also been to
scared.
Papua New Guinea too.
You've also been to nice. Well, were you in the foray?
I don't think so. No, I don't know.
Then you should be fine. It was really literally just that spot because, like I said, it was just family members who ate the deceased.
Hmm.
So they didn't really spread out. I mean, they weren't, they were a tribe of people. They didn't really have any modern anything. Like white men came, took away their cannibalism, which I mean, thank goodness.
When will our cultural appropriation end? White privilege or what?
Right.
Okay.
Why? And the one, one of the few times that us intervening has actually helped. It's helped.
Well, you don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
Well,
stopped
Eating human
eating one
flesh
another.
is also linked to health benefits as well. It's not just prions.
Supposedly, it tastes delicious. Like I watched a documentary, and they said that it's better than beef or pork. That it's really sweet. The skin sucks, but underneath it, good stuff.
right. Now, let me ask you a question for all you Crown watchers out there that have watched The Crown. Isn't there an episode where sort of Prince Philip goes to some native land
Ooh,
because he
too
has to?
soon.
Well, no, I'm just saying. And then the people who were on the royal yacht were supposedly having it off with some of the natives. How do you know that they didn't introduce it? Oh well, obviously it was a. No, I was just going to say that was in the '60s. Maybe.
So
Yeah, I
your
mean,
theory
clearly.
is instead of cannibalism, it was sex with the royal family that gave them prions.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm not
You
saying it.
clearly just said that.
No. I'm just asking the question. I'm just
Oh,
saying. I'm just going to do this in historical ancient alien style. Could it
So,
be?
and
Could it
and if
be?
you want to go to the paranormal side of things,
Yes.
here we
okay.
go.
So, back before the doctors found out what was going on, it was hugely believed that it was sorcery. Like you have like a bunch of men in different um, tribes there whose father would use that sorcery, which is linked to murder. I'll get into that, but they believed it was sorcery. Taught their sons how to do the same thing, and they really believed that they were causing the problems. And what they would do, they would lynch whoever they thought had they did revenge lynchings on people that they thought had cast a hex essentially on their family members. So they really believed that it was magic
Right.
that had caused it. And
Right.
there was a lot of like fighting between the groups because it was just a constant of, oh, my son has Kuru, someone hexed him, who do I go after?
Those bastard McTavishes.
The British is the answer, apparently.
Well,
Again,
I'm
that's
not.
what you guys do. You guys go to new countries and you spread disease.
No, we shot the people living there and nicked their land. We did not spread disease.
You
No,
did too spread disease.
that
Most of them
that is.
died via disease.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Hey,
Look,
listen.
history is filled with many inaccuracies. One of them is that we spread disease, okay? We went to land, We shot them. We stole their land. Okay, that's what happened. There was no
I'm just
disease at all.
saying.
There
I'm
is
just
no doubt
saying.
in
You
my
did it
mind.
to the
Right.
Indians. There's no doubt in my mind.
Wait a
Like
minute.
like Kevin
Wait,
said.
we did it to the Indians.
y-
Whoa, we did it to the Indians.
So
Let's.
you guys,
Let,
you colonizers did it to the Indians, and then
oh,
Kevin
oh,
goes
oh,
over. Listen,
oh.
Kevin goes over to Papua New Guinea, and suddenly
Oh wait, no,
some indigenous people are dying.
well, no. All I'm
What?
saying is there is nothing cleaner than a 16th or 17th century Irish person or British English person. They were definitely taking baths at least once a year, whether they needed it or not.
Good for them.
Right.
Okay, that was the Spanish, Gabby. Let's get that one wrapped up. And as far as you go, you colonizers, why is it always, oh, this is America, this is the US, but when it comes to giving the Indians smallpox, it's suddenly England's fault?
Well, yeah,
Nuh-uh. You
that's
won the War of Independence. You take all the consequences.
no,
That
no,
includes
no, no.
using smallpox to wipe out the Indians.
Richard, if you can divert the history so that only the bad things happened under British people and only the good things happened under American people, then you've got, then that's what you've
That's a
got.
good country. That's right.
That's what I mean, of
Better
course.
than yours. I totally wouldn't give like an arm or leg to move to Canada or someplace,
Right.
civilized. I would much
Listen,
rather be in America.
it was clearly the English influence that kept slavery going in the United States until 1960. 1860s. That's all I'm saying. We had been defeated 90 years before, but it was our influence that kept that immorality going, and I'm proud of it.
I love that, Gabby. Salty because y'all lost.
No, no, I've said that. No, I from that
You're
standpoint,
Irish. You don't have a bone in this.
I don't have.
You should go against Richard with this one.
Well, no, that's not true. Like I said, um, of course, Irish folk, have been in the British Army for a long time. Still are some of them, And all I'm saying is, um, it's a matter of looking at it from a standpoint of what's correct and what isn't. I mean, obviously, if you ask some people from Northern Ireland, they hate British people. I was around British people a lot, and I still don't like some English people. You know what I mean? It's a very understand the British person is very misunderstood as to what it is versus the English person. That's all I'm going to say about that. English people don't like Welsh people, and they don't like Scottish people, and they don't like Irish people. Irish people don't like English people. Scottish people, especially, don't like English people, and Welsh people don't like English people too. But they might like
I don't
Scottish
even
people and Irish
recognize
people.
Wales as a country.
Right. But I'm just saying, you can't get into the generalities of all that. It is just a funny thing. Everybody hates English people. Even other English
It's
people.
a
That's all I'm gonna
jelly of
say.
our accents.
Well, that's true. It's super sexy.
Except for Liverpool, we have the best accents in the world.
Okay. Are you really gonna? Are
Dublin,
you gonna take
Dublin,
it? You're
Dublin.
gonna take it.
I,
You're gonna take a Newcastle accent. You're gonna take a Newcastle accent over.
That was the
Oh,
worst Geordie accent I've ever heard in my
well,
entire life.
I'm not from there. I'm just
Had you
saying.
said nothing, it would have been a better accent
All
impression
right.
than that. But yes, I like the Newcastle accent. It's better. The Liverpool one is the only one I fucking hate. I loathe the Liverpudlian accent
You hate
and
the
the
Scots.
Essex accent.
Oh yeah. So the Scots accent, but you like the Newquay accent, and you like the sort of Lancashire, Manchester sort of Bolton accent. That would be all right.
Yeah, that's fine. Totes fine.
It's,
I like a good Dublin accent.
well, we all know about your predilection for Dublin accents,
hmm
Miss
Which
Nikki.
was a big reason why I really liked Father Ted too. I was like, I could just close my eyes and I don't know, have a FAP session to the men talking.
Right. to Ardal O'Hanlon,
Yep, I don't care, man.
Father Deagle McGuire. Oh my God, that's so hot.
Like I said, I'd close my eyes.
Right. But even some of the things he says,
Oh
as
yeah,
far
some of
as
the things he says is
reality,
ridiculous.
yes.
I agree. A good Scottish accent can be better than an English accent.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it depends, but like for a long time, you thought to people, because all British, punk and pop stars had effectuated a British accent, and a London accent, sort of an East End accent for a long time. Then people thought that's how all British people talk. You know,
Nope. I can generally I can generally understand most English accents, but there was one I was listening to the other day and I just kept messaging Richard going, "What? Is that what? What are they saying? What was that accent? I can't remember."
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool. Oh my god, so bad.
yeah, this Sky's accent is really, really hard. And but of course, you've got to understand that a lot of these folks who have these regional accents were oftentimes lower class people. Because upper class people, no matter where you're from, and in the United Kingdom itself, whether you're from Northern Ireland, Scotland, Edinburgh, London, wherever, if you have an upper class accent, it's very, very hard to tell where you're from. You can tell you've got that upper class accent. It was only the lower class, working class folks that effectuated these largely different accents, and because a lot of that was, a lot of the slang was used to uh, do crimes and things like that. That's why it's really hard to understand some things, like the Brummie accent or the East End accent or the Liverpool accent, where they're throwing in words um, that replace other words. Like a lot of people don't realize they know what Cockney rhyming slang is, but they don't understand that there's a Glaswegian rhyming slang as well. I mean,
Hmm.
that's
There's
just all
Cumbrian as well.
right. And so all that was just to just basically be able to do crimes without saying what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was replacement words.
Thieves can't for the
Right.
nerds out there.
Yeah. So that's yeah, exactly. So if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly. Thieves
Uh,
can't.
Yeah.
It's- Uh, I call you guys nerds enough. Decided to show my hand there.
Dude, if you pretend not to be a nerd, everybody knows you're a nerd, Nikki.
That's true.
Yeah, you don't hide it very well.
I
Right.
Just
don't
say,
even try.
The only thing you could do to get away from it is to go for that. Oh yeah, I'm reading that. If you do the sexy voice once a show, then
Uh-huh.
nobody cares that you're a nerd. Doesn't matter.
Are you telling me that people care that I'm a nerd right now?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think anybody
getting a
cares.
lot of messages. Apparently, they've lost respect for you. Um, can't believe you're a nerd. Gabby, especially, not happy about this revelation. Oh, and Ange is leaving the show. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. She's had enough. That's it. I'm
Had
out.
enough. Had enough of the nerdiness. It's gotten
There
too
you
much
go.
for her.
Now Gabby's hyping me up. She wants me to talk nerdy to her.
He's
Nerdy,
talking to me.
I'll do
nerdy,
it after
dirty.
the show. Gabby, you and me will talk nerdy to each other.
Yes. E equals MC squared. Oh,
Where none of the boys can hear us.
I love it. See, that's all you have to do. At that point in time, nobody cares. You know what I mean? That's all you have to do. That's it.
Guys are so dumb.
Guys are dumb, but
I agree. Yeah,
but that's
that's why I
okay.
said it. It's okay. Yeah.
At least from my standpoint, I don't deny that guys are dumb. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're just like, yeah, we're pretty dumb.
We're very driven by certain things. That's all. I mean, like I said, and whereas um, apparently women are also driven by the same thing. Factors involving what is sexy to a woman and a man may not be the exact same thing.
They're absolutely not.
Yes. Well, that's what's interesting to me because I think that what I find is interesting that a lot of people I speak to they always say, "Well, I'm not sexy." You know what I mean? I'm not sexy, and then you look at it from that standpoint, you think a lot of people think they're sexy and they don't think they're sexy. What is it about the world that makes everybody think that they're not sexy? I don't know. That's an interesting thing. I mean, I've talked to
Media.
very good looking, sort of the ideal model type, the very tall. And whenever they were in high school, they were gangly. They were gangly. They were
They
very
still are
tall.
gangly depending on whether or not you're into that kind of thing.
Right. But what I'm saying is that idea of a very long legged, thin, those girls in high school oftentimes were not asked out. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Because they didn't fit that sort of idea. So they get to be these superstars where they always where they're supposed to be the height of beauty per se, and yet they are not even comfortable with how they whether they're sexy or not. I mean,
Yeah.
like somebody's sexy if they think they're sexy.
It's
That's the
very
way I
true.
look
It's all
at it.
about confidence.
Right.
If you have confidence, then you can be sexy,
Yeah. I find
whether
that
you
to be
have the
true.
body or not. Yep. But
So,
I think that men and women both find confidence sexy, but also men are far more visibly driven than women.
yeah, visually
Yeah, not
attractive.
visibly. Yeah,
Right.
visually attracted.
Visually, but
Because
then again,
a guy can make a woman laugh and be somewhat secure, and he's going to be sexy to her. He doesn't have to be a good-looking dude. He just has to
right.
be a decent guy. I mean, if he's a good-looking dude, yay, more is the better. But you can attract a woman fairly easily just by being decent and having your shit together.
Yeah.
We're not that hard to, you know. What are you giggling about, Richard?
That's
What are
the
you
two.
messaging
No,
him?
no, I'm just saying those are the two hardest things for a man to do. You know, have their shit together and be decent.
Yep. That's all we want is them to have their
No, yeah,
shit together and
but
not down their leg, not running down their leg, but like together, preferably still in their colon.
right. So I might then. That's it. Oh well, that's the way it goes. Richard is the has to take on the sexy man of the program role. How do you like that, Richard? You're no pressure on you, man.
I've always been the sexy one on the show. Okay,
Right.
let's get that one wrapped up right now. Okay, I know Nikki's over there with a little voice, but that's nothing compared to my raw sexual energy that I bring every week
Nothing compares
to me.
to you.
Yeah, I'm the best. And don't you forget it.
Yeah, Kevin, don't forget that.
That's right. I was on the Petty and in the Farm podcast, baby, and then I met you. Yeah, that's good. Whatever happened to old nut job anyway?
Who are you talking about?
What's her name? Nothing compares to you,
Sinead
lady.
O'Connor?
Yeah, Sinead. Whatever happened to Sinead?
She
'Cause-
got canceled before cancel culture was okay. Was a thing.
no, I think
Oh,
she.
she
For
got
ripping up a
mega
picture.
cancelled.
Oh yeah, she ripped up a picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live at the
Yeah,
end
but
of.
I think she still comes out with her random acts of sort of craziness that she's in the paper every once in a while. I
Does
haven't
she?
actually heard.
I have not seen
I
her.
have not heard of Sinead O'Connor since that Pope thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
they
yeah, I think she's might be in the well, I read the Irish Times and that, so it's probably in there somewhere, as like where's Waldo? Where's Sinead? You know? I think the last time she like converted to being a Muslim or something. And I don't know. She's still doing something, but she's obviously um, not 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 well, not doing well, I'd say. She's probably living somewhere on a council estate. How would you imagine that rocking up to your house and then Sinead O'Connor just lives next door to you and she's like,
You know, she's like super fat, 3 fags in her mouth, a bunch of cats,
hell
and you,
yeah.
and you only know it's her because she sings in the morning when she's doing the laundry.
I'm down because I don't give a crap about the Pope.
yeah,
I do.
well,
No, she could have got away with that if she'd done that in England or Ireland, but
well,
well, in Northern Ireland.
hey,
But
if she would have done that in Northern Ireland, she'd be the hero of the freaking century.
yeah, but doing it in America, that was a really dumb move.
Yeah, but you see, that's the problem that I think a lot of people from other countries have when they come to America. They think that we actually have freedom of speech here, and that's not necessarily. Oh, I mean, it is true to a certain degree, but people are not going to let you say whatever you want to say. And then just say, oh, well, that's her opinion. Move on. That's it. I don't agree with her. That's it. You know what I mean? You have the right to say it in America, but you also have the realization that people will complain about it to the end of the earth. You know what I mean? That is sort of the way that was. America is a Christian, Judeo-Christian values place. You're not gonna. That's not a good idea. It's just not a good idea that you come here and say and rip up pictures of them. Although, what was
No, it's a
interesting.
terrible idea. I don't know what she was thinking.
All right, but let me look at this from this standpoint. What was she really trying? I mean, and this is the thing. This is the thing that I think nobody thinks about when she was talking about that. There was a thing where Johnny Lydon had made Johnny Rotten, if you know who that is from the Sex Pistols, had talked about Jimmy Savile being a predator, sexual predator, years before it came out that he actually was. And what was Sinead O'Connor actually protesting when she pictured up the picture of the Pope? Was she really protesting sort of the idea of the Catholic cover up of sexual dalliances that had happened between? I mean, see what I'm saying? In many ways, if I don't remember it. I just remember the thing. If that's what she was protesting at the time, she could have been very, very, very right in the idea of that thing.
But she was just doing it for attention.
Right. Well, that could be. But I think at the time of that, you were talking about, there were things that were coming to light about sort of the Magdalene sisters and these sort of workhouses for unwed mothers and what happened to the babies in Ireland and on all these different things that have turned out to be true. The Magdalene sisters, I think it was, and then you have the thing about the Catholic Church running Native American or First Nations schools in Canada where they're finding thousands of bodies and things like that. So I'm just saying, somehow, somewhere, these stories come forward. Somebody talks about it, whether she knew about it, whether she was prescient or not, or whether she was just looking for attention. I don't know. But seems like she hasn't ever backed
Hang
down.
on a bloody minute. Nikki, are you pimping me out in the chat to Gabby?
What?
Gestures to Richard.
What?
What
I
did you
called
do?
you funny.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Richard.
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 All right. Well, that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the
That'll
hopes
wrap
of
us
more.
up, everybody.
Yeah, you know what that means. That
We'll be
means
back with Richard next week.
Richard's got Pimped in the chat room. Now he's got a horn on, and he's trying to get off the. He's trying to end the show so he can follow up on it.
You've discovered my evil plan.
Yes. I just
All
call
right.
it as I see it.
Well, that's lovely.
Disco sucks.
Now you're stealing my tagline as well. Wow.
I'm only joking, man.
No, it's fine. No, sure. Anyway, what are we talking about next week, Kevin? It's your turn.
Not sure. Trying to think about what is. Oh, next week is the Thanksgiving here. So, do you want to do like a Thanksgiving understanding about Thanksgiving and what it really is, or not?
Oh my gosh, yes, please. Please, 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 please.
All right, let's talk about Thanksgiving, the greatest American holiday of all time, and how
Righty dokey, skip.
there we go. And if
So
you
we
want
will
to talk
we
about
will
some of the traditions.
return next week.
We will return next week.
We will return next week.
We will return next week. Well, I can't. My mind's gone blank. Oh
Besides
yeah.
Besides the hopes and wishes of many, including the management.
I've just realised something. Those women were in the nip.
They were.